I'm going to give you an inside scoop of everything that happened at the Assembly of First Nations this week, which is crazy because like a Grand Chief in Manitoba like got hospitalized because he got beat up so bad in a bar. There was another person, I don't think it was a chief or counselor, but they got stabbed in the back of the head by like some girls. And that one isn't confirmed, but the first one is. And I don't know, it was a crazy, crazy assembly. The energy was off the entire assembly. There was one moment in the assembly where we were about to vote on child welfare resolutions, and this elder had had a seizure. Like she was doing a speech, and then right after the speech, she had a seizure. And that might even be like on the live like broadcast. Well, I'm sure they stopped recording when she was like seizing, but it was like so scary. Like people were shocked, triggered. It was honestly, for me, it was like one of the craziest assemblies that I've ever experienced. And my business there was child welfare. So we were really trying to create a plan because the Chiefs rejected the $47.8 billion offer from Canada to settle long-term reform, which means make sure that discrimination never happens for First Nations children again within the child welfare system. We were creating resolutions that supported the evidence and knowledge of experts and a path forward where AFN and their lawyers were no longer in control. Because what we found was that with them being in control, discrimination was going to continue because they would have just sketchy political maneuvers and decisions being made behind closed doors, no free, prior, and informed consent for First Nations. And Ontario was going to control the entire agreement. So there was no representation from Saskatchewan. Alberta doesn't even have regional chiefs. So how could we make decisions when the entire province of Alberta hasn't been a part of this from the start? So just so many problems was happening with the negotiations. The experts knew that AFN could no longer handle this level of negotiations because we had to gather consensus before coming to an agreement, which means everybody needs to be consulted. Everybody needs consensus. You can't just make a binding agreement on First Nations kids without properly, meaningfully consulting with them. Doesn't matter how many billions of dollars you get promised, you need meaningful consultation. And the AFN completely failed in that regard. And it's sad because we have so many of our kids suffering from discrimination today, every day within the child welfare system. I'm one of those kids that was in the child welfare system. But at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We all have to try to figure out a solution. And I hope and pray that the experts and the Caring Society and chiefs and the AFN and the National Chief all get to work together and try to find a more unified approach going forward. Anyway, there were some resolutions that we were supposed to pass, giving the chiefs strategic direction on how to implement a new negotiation plan going forward. And there was these two other chiefs who had the opposite belief, and they wanted to revive the debt agreement. They wanted to bring back that final settlement agreement, the $47.8 billion. They wanted to bring that back into the picture. So we bring that to our experts, our informal working group, and we're like, yeah, so these chiefs want to do this and revive the settlement agreement. And the informal working group of experts is like, no way. We can't revive the final settlement agreement because we know that if we do, discrimination will continue of our kids. That's our bottom line. Sorry. So we couldn't come to an agreement with the chiefs, and we pass our own resolutions. Their resolution, they table it. And when I'm leaving, the chief that was moving it, that we met with the night before, corners me, screams in my face, and was like, "You conned me. You made us believe we had a deal." And I was like, "Excuse me, watch your tone, lower your voice, and have some respect." You don't have to get to that extent where you're screaming in people's faces when you're trying to fight people. And I just find it sad that there was like the Grand Chief that was hospitalized the night before, and then the other guy that was stabbed in the back of the neck. Like, what the fuck are we doing as a people when, as the Assembly of First Nations, we're supposed to be the leaders making decisions, binding decisions for the lives of all of our children across the country, and our behavior is so